What made you fall in love with fitness?
So it was kind of a result of very organic process. I'm like, okay, people are actually paying me for these kind of helps I'm giving them. That was a spark to what could potentially be what I was doing. So if I trained somebody, if I worked on myself and I have proof that what I did worked on me, then I would have confidence that I could actually have you undergo the same kind of program and then potentially get the same results, which oftentimes happened. Most people, they were like, okay, I have this idea, how can I monetize it? So for me, it was the other way around. So money was finding me, and then I was like, how can I now justify it? That's the natural progression I was talking about. I pushed it to levels where I'm at now, professionally, because I was self-taught and I need to justify it to myself mainly because gyms didn't have regulations and standards that actually require, by the way, up to date. It's one of the things I'm fighting for. I inherited something that was already working. So it's not like there was a big change to make. But of course, it was going to be the first gym in Rwanda that is owned by a personal trainer. So we had to have some sort of specialty.
What do you put in place to be able to increase retention?
So one is there is that trust that you believe I can actually get you there. That helps a lot. You could say, okay, I'm here for vibes. Yes, if the gym offers vibes, then you could also stay for that. And then as a byproduct, you also get to have a good body that you always wanted. I make a living through making people be healthy. Not enough is said about the importance of, or at least the work that gyms are doing or have been doing. I don't think if you are in school and you tell your parents that you want to be a personal trainer, they'll be like,
doesn't sound like
aren't you doing finance? Why don't you go on and keep doing finance? Personal trainers probably in the coming years going to be one of the most respected professionals in Rwanda because they'll be judged by the impact they have on people, not by anything else as it is now.
Welcome to the podcast, Ivan.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
I'm all right.
Yeah, good. For a bit of context, can you take me through some of your, let's say, early adulthood? What were some of the things you were thinking about? What were some of the things you wanted to be and do?
We're talking about how old? But people want to do different things at different stages of their lives. So when I see like a 9-year-old me was very much into football. I like Ronaldo very much. The old Ronaldo, the other Ronaldo.
Okay.
The actual Ronaldo.
Yeah.
And so I played football. So I played a lot of football in school. Played for all my high schools. I played in the school teams, and I was in an academy. So I wanted to actually be a football player.
Yeah.
It was a dream of mine. So, and then I also consumed a lot of football stuff. So I was the guy with who is after magazine posters, the one in the middle at the Institut Français in the 11 Mondial. I don't know if you know this magazine. Do you know this?
I think I've heard about it.
Yeah. 11 Mondial used to be like this magazine for, it mainly covered French football. And so it had these big posters that we would hang in the rooms. So my room was full of Zinedine Zidane, Trezeguet, Ronaldo, people of that time, people Inzaghi, Zambrota, So my childhood had a lot of football, and and of course education. I guess if you're in school, you have that. There was like football, study, sleep, repeat.
Well, what crushed the dream of becoming the next Ronaldo?
I think actually schooling played a big role because I went to boarding schools, I think from the age of 13. And every time I would come back in the holidays, I would find people in the academy in another group. Let's say if they were minim, then they would be now juniors. And if they were juniors, I don't know, junior or cadet, I don't remember which one came first, but there were some promotions depending on the skills, a little bit of age also, but skills was most importantly the things that counted the most. So I would go to school, and when I come back, my generation would be on another level, and then I'll be discouraged because obviously they didn't have a basis to promote me. So I would again stay on the same level for like 3-4 years. And at some point it started being motivating, and that's how I exited the structured model that was supposed to kind of turn me into a pro. Then, beside playing on Sundays now, which is what I do, and I think school. So if you know very well, if you played football at the highest level possible, which is the national team, probably you had to trade your education for that.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to do that.
Okay.
I don't think I would be doing what I do without an education.
Yeah. And then what did you decide to pursue in your education?
Why?
What did you decide to pursue in your education?
At that time, it was only high school. So high school, you do like general stuff. Yeah. At that time, it was high school. I just knew that I needed good grades. So my parents, or people at least that looked after me then, they were so hard on the score, on the grades, that any excuses, even football was considered as that activity that's not 100% accepted, especially if it interferes with your grades.
Yeah.
So that's the time. That's what I was. Yeah.
And then after high school, what happened?
I got a scholarship with KIST, the Kigali Institute. At this time, I think currently it's called what? University of Rwanda, campus of
technology.
You are.
Yeah.
No, College of Science of Technology, I think. Yeah. So I loved what I was doing then. My goal was to be a computer engineer, and then turned into fitness trainer. So the love of fitness kind of overlapped at that time with all kinds of interests I had, and so I then turned into a fitness trainer.
Yeah, I mean, for most people, when I hear about their story, how they got into fitness, some of them have a story where they're like, "Oh, my girlfriend said I was too skinny, so I just started hitting the gym."
Then I went to hit the gym.
And then I became super buff, and then I, built a business around it.
Yeah.
What was your reason, or what made you fall in love with fitness?
So it was kind of a result of like a very organic process. Like I kind of kept transitioning from one thing to another, and then it led to full professionalism. And so at first it was just about just me keeping fit, and then becoming a member of various magazines that I could, let's say, subscribe to online at that time, like Men's Health and other stuff like bodybuilding. And so most of these magazines, they provided the knowledge I needed at that time to be good at training myself. They talked a little bit about nutrition, a little bit about exercise, but precisely what to do. Like if you want to do chest, you go down, there's a bench press, you do this, and how many series, how many sets, how many, rounds. And then, so the more I dug into those stuff, the better I became at training myself. And then people around me, like you're never just alone. There are always guys around in the gym, and then they could observe what I'm doing, and then they could see that I do more structured stuff. So they could ask me like, "What are you doing today?" And I'm like, "I'm doing shoulders and back." Okay. What is the purpose behind that split? What did you do yesterday? And that could be probably like maybe legs, or like the posterior chain of the leg, like hamstrings and glutes. And so they would be like, okay, it's so meticulously detailed. And then they became a bit curious, like, how do I do it? And of course, I would be sharing knowledge here and there. By the way, you're not doing this right. You could do this. If you position your spine a little bit neutral, you could benefit from this. So, and also I love educating people. So, but all these things, you discover them, of course, later on. So then it became a bit like that person that knows what they're doing, and then that has a strong interest. At least at that time, there was no fitness education to it, proper, formal. then to now wanting other people to benefit to what you know in a very organic way that is not lucrative, that is not, so people would like, let's do a session of abs at the end of the workout, and then you lead the session. Then I would do that voluntarily, free of charge. And then some women could say like, are you coming on Saturday? Maybe I didn't have a plan to come on Saturday. I'll be like, okay, I'm coming on Thursday, but not Saturday. And then they'll be like, do you mind coming on Saturday? And then I would probably see if it fits, then I would accept. And then they started kind of giving me these little incentives, like a motorbike cash, like it could be 5,000, but it meant a lot to a student. Yeah. I'm like, okay, people are actually paying me for these kind of helps I'm giving them. And that was a spark to what could potentially be what I was doing. And then, there were other things that happened, like including getting an education and being certified as a personal trainer. And now I feel the confidence to hold a clipboard with like pre-planned programs and advice and do consultation meetings before working out and before and after progress tracking, stuff like that, with the heart of a personal trainer, with full confidence. So, but the beginning, has always been about how can I improve the way I train and get results.
Yeah. I think I'm picking up two things there, which I would love to definitely understand from your side. So what did fitness mean for you in that moment, right? Some people say, okay, whenever I run, right, I feel really good in my body, so I want to do it more and more and more and more. Maybe, I have a stressful job, and then whenever I run, it's very good for me, right? And that's the reason why I do it. Number two, most people never, cross that line of taking it seriously. Of, following magazines.
To a point where you can actually be a professional in it.
Exactly. People just say, I know that, for me to get a chest, let me do some push-ups, let me lift up some weight. I will just buy them from the store, put them in my room, and I will just be doing it in the morning whenever I feel like it, right? Most people never really cross that line, right? So I want to understand, number one, what did fitness mean for you? But also maybe when you look at it from, now that you've been doing it for a long time, like what did it really mean for you? And also what made you cross that line of, okay, let me actually learn more, take it more structured?
I think it's a deep interest that kept growing as I became confident in what I was doing. So when you train people, you told me you listen to Alex Morrison. So he has this quote that confidence doesn't come from chanting affirmations in a mirror. It comes from undeniable proof that you are who you say you are. So if I trained somebody, if I worked on myself and I have proof that what I did worked on me, then I will have confidence that I could actually have you undergo the same kind of program and then potentially get the same results, which oftentimes happened. Of course, there were like individual preferences and individual differences that interfered with what I had pre-planned for everybody. And that's how I also learned about custom design of fitness programs that takes all those little details about the person into consideration. So that what I have actually in mind can work for them. But it is the results I was getting for myself that made me feel like, okay, these things can be beneficial to other people. And if I'm not even taking the steps forward towards that, some people are actually asking for it. So if they are willing to now pay for it, this means something, because most people, they were like, okay, I have this business. This idea, how can I monetize it? So for me, it was the other way around. So money was finding me, and then I was like, how can I now justify it? So that's the natural progression I was talking about. So it kind of was, I pushed it to levels where I'm at now professionally, because people were even willing to pay for it, even when I was a half-baked trainer. So it was incentive enough. To dig deeper and then go further with it.
And did you end up finishing up that computer degree?
No, I did not. So
you dropped out because of this?
I dropped out because of I can say because of this. So early on, like probably from age of 14, 15, I understood something very different. I understood the difference between education and schooling. And because of the person I am, I feel like I've always felt like the format of the school wasn't right for me. So I'm super hyperactive. I've always struggled with attention, and to get me even to sit for 30 minutes so you can actually inject something in my brain was a challenge. So I was always that kid that's asking for permission to go to the toilet, even if I don't want to, just because I know I'm actually like tired of this sit still situation. So so fitness, which was something a little bit outside of a conventional setup, it involved a lot of physical activity. Obviously, like it kind of was a good outlet for my anxious mind that wants constantly to be moving, and was really good in terms of responding to my then needs, like in terms psychologically speaking. So combining it with education was. It kept giving me this contrast. It's like you're doing this and you're doing this, but clearly you are so good at this and you're happier here, and you know when you're doing things at the same time, but you have proof that you enjoy one more than the other.
Yeah.
So that is one that kind of made me go drop out. But also when you have those kind of challenges as a child, you develop ways to cope. So which means I realized that I only can study in the night, or I can study when it's noisy, or I don't know, like there was always a way I get information into my head so I can actually give you the bare minimum you need on a test. But it doesn't mean that I did not actually absorb the substance of whatever course, because I wasn't my performance wasn't really bad. But it was the curiosity and the things I felt like are pulling me, and they are attracting my attention. They went in the format and in what I was studying at that time. So I valued more education, so I went into online stuff, and I started reading different scientific papers, and I started on my own, trying to follow that light, that curiosity, and eventually I just lost interest. It died gradually, and that's how. But I can't blame on fitness 100%. But for sure, I played that role of being the contrast of,
Yeah. What did you feel the need to get a certification, and what exactly do you learn when you're trying to get that certification, right?
What do I... So, when you do something, and then you always have that, even when you can't escape that process, at least if you think the way I think, you can't escape that process of feeling like an imposter in what you're doing. So like, probably if I had a document that could justify what I do, I would feel better about myself, because I feel like, okay, I go to work, and then I have a decent living, and due to what I do, but I need to kind of, because I was self-taught, and I need to justify it to myself, mainly because gyms didn't have regulations and standards that actually require, by the way, up to date. It's one of the things I'm fighting for.
That's the same thing I was going to ask.
Yeah. But it was just for myself. And when you mentioned it to clients, it kind of also sounded cool. It sounded like believable. Whatever you're doing, you know what you're doing. But I can really, really say it, even up to now. The things I know that I do, I know how to do. There is nothing that can actually prove it. So it's it has gone beyond the paper. There is nothing. I don't think there is anything that can justify what I know how to do. That can capture it and then say, okay, here's a degree. This guy knows how to do this.
Yeah, but then with these kind of degrees, what are some of the things that you learn, right? Because I mean, I still see the importance of having it. I mean, having a formal education in whatever, especially something that involves you teaching other people, right? You kind of have to understand the methodology and all these kind of things. So I still see the importance of having that degree in the sense of, you know, maybe when it comes to like nutrition, when it comes to, let's say, understanding muscles, right? Yes, a lot of us could just say, yeah, if you look at somebody who's buff, that's a degree. You know, they have a degree.
They earned that from doing.
Exactly. They're an expert. They can just be like, yeah, you can see my muscles, right? I can teach you that. And they can literally start a school and start teaching other people to be personal trainers, right? But then I just want to understand, in that formal education in your space, what are some of the other things that you need to learn that you wouldn't learn maybe as a self-taught?
As a self-taught person. I mean, obviously, that like you mentioned the methodology, for example. You need to learn things in a structured way there is a certain structure that's needed for you to even be able to make what you've learned transferable. Because if then you learn them in this kind of structured way, it is probably in my head how they are actually kept. They are like all over the place. So, but then if you had a module that had units that you have hours to cover for each unit, and then you get questions for each unit, and then you later compile them into like an essay, or you write up something, and that structure can easily be transferred if you are then into also transfer knowledge and stuff like that, and also of course utilization. But that is the most important difference that I notice within the self-taught community, is that they know so much, but they also at the same time don't know much. Yeah. So it's without structure, you kind of don't have a feel of what you know. So it was motivating enough to want to have a personal training certificate, to attend all these seminars that I've attended in the past 12 years, and all kinds of continuing education programs that I've probably been to. So yeah, it was important because of that, because of wanting to, obviously, then the thirst and of knowing new stuff within my industry, but also try to understand deeply so I can explain simply. Because I'm challenged by my job involves a lot of explaining.
Yeah, of course.
What I do, So,
and then, so you drop out, right? You're like, I have something burning desire here. Clearly seems to work. A bunch of people are telling me they need me here. Something is pulling me here. I decide to drop out here. What do you do?
Oh boy, you follow the light. You follow the light, especially if you have proof that you probably are on the right track.
Yeah.
And especially at that time in your mind, there is no track. So the track is everything that you put together that seem to work. They become your new obsession. So I have done a few other ventures, but to settle with fitness and personal training is because I had the proof that it works, and I should stick to it. So you kind of have to listen to that inner voice.
Yeah. So you listen
backed
to it
by
and backed by
real achievements.
Yeah. And so you decided to set up your own gym right away, or
I didn't set up my own gym. So I acquired WAKA Cali.
Yes.
Through a process that was also very natural, because I used to be a personal trainer before. I used Cali as my training space, but it belonged to someone. And then eventually, when the business wasn't doing so good, I offered to take it over, and we talked about payment modalities, and yeah, it happened like that. But it belonged to someone to begin with. Yeah,
that's good. And you have your own gym now. What was because somebody when you look at it from a business standpoint, it's one of those things where when you're about to like start a restaurant, a lot of people are like, there's many restaurants. You know, everybody's selling burgers, everybody's selling pizzas.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do that's different, right? What did you think that you were going to do differently in that space? Again, backed by your number of years of doing personal training and looking at other gyms. You know, you were like, okay, Cali Fitness, what can I do here? What was going on in your mind?
Well, I mean, you know, we were at first I was so lucky because I inherited something that was already working. So it's not like there was a big change to make. But of course, it was going to be the first gym in Rwanda that is owned by a personal trainer. So we had to have some sort of specialty, which is now personal training. So Cali Fitness is known to be the place you go to if you want to be trained and achieve your goals.
Really?
Oh yeah, for sure. Has always been.
It was the first gym owned by a personal trainer.
By a personal trainer. So, and who's on the floor, not just like I own a gym and then I'm nowhere to be seen.
Yeah.
So I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, go to the gym, I teach a class at 6 a.m. And then at that time I retired on the floor as a PT. But at that time, I would then have one-on-one trainings until 1 p.m. And then I will go for lunch and I'll come back at 4 p.m. And then I'll have one-on-one clients until 9 p.m. So I did that for many, many years. And as a consequence to that, every personal trainer that kind of wanted some freedom, because many gyms were charging a fee to utilize their equipment. So we did not. But I also have... I had to kind of raise the bar a little bit because that kind of freedom of movement would then attract every personal trainer of any sort. So we are that gym that has a periodic assessment of our personal trainers, but also we invest in their capacity building. So if you want to be a good personal trainer, I think being we slowly have built that reputation of being the umbrella for developing personal trainers before they are big accounts and it's following and creating a big business of their own. But when they are trying to learn how to become personal trainers, so we have that. It's one thing that as a Cali Fitness owner, I had to sort of think about and work on. Mainly because it just came naturally. It's who I was. I was a personal trainer. I felt like, okay, this business is probably going to be about one-on-one training. So you would come to the floor and there would be 6 people training other 6 people. And that they would drop in 1 hour and then those other 6 people will not come tomorrow, but there will be another different group and just like that. So we are very training-focused facility.
And what would you say the difference between a gym owned by a personal trainer is from another regular
gym? So you know when it's like having a carpenter that owns a furniture store. Let's say if you've ever made a furniture and then you later on own a furniture store, you kind of understand what it takes. Or first you would understand what it is that makes a good furniture from an experienced point of view, an experienced carpenter that worked on wood and turned into a table, and then to a point where you can actually sell it. Yeah. So that is one of the big differences, that the main service we sell at the gym is actually fitness. It's the classes, it's the one-on-one training, it's the quality of equipment, it's fitness in general. And many people, when they want to assess a gym, trying to visit different gyms, trying to take a decision, they'll be like, okay, that doesn't have equipment, or that, they'll judge it based on how equipped it is.
Yeah.
And yet the true quality of what we sell is actually in the people's minds. The service providers themselves, how well trained are trainers there?
Yeah.
Are they good professionals? Do they have like a strong sense of professionalism? Because it's very important. Sometimes you deal with a bad trainer and then he becomes that bad experience that you will carry the rest of your life. Obviously, equipment is another. You should really look into it, but it doesn't come first. So, trainers, the quality of trainers. Yeah.
What makes a great personal trainer?
So I feel like a great personal trainer should understand that clients are not interested in how they train themselves. So you shouldn't be pushing your own training style to how you train yourself to others. So it is a one-on-one process. So you should be mixing people.
Why is that?
But because then you lose focus on it's called personal trainer for that specific reason. It's your personal trainer. And while we are still at this word personal trainer should understand their limit. To what degree do you stop being somebody's personal trainer? So I'm talking about like if it's in communication, if you're chatting your client past 9 p.m., if is the text kept professional? Are we only talking about gym stuff? Are we like, I don't know, stuff that could probably mislead or that are inappropriate? A good trainer should be mindful of all those things. And a good trainer should be disciplined, should be hygienic, should keep himself proper and herself clean, and should have good communication skills, because you work in a one-on-one business, you can dictate who you receive. So you'll be probably dealing with a lot of internationals and a lot of foreigners. So you need to probably have your intercultural skills in check. And so yeah, all that.
How do you do the recruitment? How do you analyze all those things when you meet the person for the first time?
Yeah, I mean, we have people on the floor, but it doesn't mean that they all tick all those boxes. But there are fundamentals. There are the main things you need to have as basics for you to actually work at Cali.
Yeah.
So how I recruit is that, can you program a workout? Because some of the things I say that make a good trainer good, they only help you. And ultimately, they will help the gym, but they just help you stand out as a good trainer. If you could have them, it's good. But there are other people who make a decent living as average trainers, especially in an industry that's not as demanding. People are still learning about fitness. People still need just the basics. It's like, yeah, come, I will make you a workout. And then you go through the workout, you go home. No questions asked. But there are clients that have a deeper level of understanding of the human anatomy, how the body works, and what they want in life as goals, and how they want themselves to be treated. And so those people are going to be challenging, and you better be equipped as a trainer to train to deal with them. They will probably not speak your mother tongue, and they will probably speak another language. You have to have the communication skills to deal with them. And of course, the full package to address their issues. So my interview process is usually simple. Like, I get to know you as a person, because I believe that personal values matter more than anything. So either it's a referral, or there are people who follow me, and then they would go in my DMs and then introduce themselves, and then I'm like, yeah, come to the gym for a workout, and then we'll probably do a workout together. And as I pick your brain on different things, and then get to know who you are as a person. And yeah, so are you punctual? It's very important to me. Are you clean? It's very important to me. Do you actually know your stuff? It's very important to me. So all that. And then if I feel like I can trust you with people, with people's lives, then you'll probably be the entry level is being a flow trainer. the fitness instructor that helps everybody that comes to the gym to show them how the machines work. But then over time, you develop the capacity to now kind of assist them separately, like where you could then work on what they should be doing, and then they come and they do what you have proposed. And then ultimately, you become somebody who can design individual programs, and then you are now a personal trainer.
Yeah.
And of course, alongside that practical knowledge, there is always a certification to be working hard for.
Yeah. I look at the fitness business, right, as a e-learning business, right? One of the key challenges of an e-learning business is the fact that people sign up, but then they drop off very quickly, right? And, platforms, very famous platforms that we all download, you start off, you do a one course, and then there's like only 20% of people actually come back, right?
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like from a business standpoint, that's how the gym business looks like. I mean, all of us have at one point bought a 1-year membership of a gym, and then
drop.
3 months, you're the most consistent person, but then something happens, and then you drop off. Obviously that's a fact, but then what do you think? What could be done, or what do you think as a leader, as an entrepreneur running multiple gyms? What do you put in place to be able to increase retention?
So one is try to make people get a grip, because if you have no reason to stay, then you don't stay.
Yeah.
But if you came for whatever reason, then you got a little bit of what you wanted, there is a chance that you'll probably chase the next stage. So our process, if we've ever worked together, my process is a bit educational. So I will welcome you in my world of a personal trainer, of a fitness trainer. Then obviously you probably have an idea of what I've done before in terms of helping other people and achieve their goals. So there is that trust that you believe I can actually get you there. That helps a lot, because before we even do anything, I can get you to commit to 6 months. You even pay for them and you will come. Because there is, of course, the trust, there's the respect you have for the person that will be waiting for you on the floor. And of course, that experience is very different, personal trainer to personal trainer. So not everybody will probably be lucky that way. But because of my process being educational in some sense, sometimes you're like, okay, I want to reduce my belly. And I'm like, okay, cool. We work out. And then you discover that probably performance-oriented goals are far better than you looking a certain way, because by your belly, you meant something cosmetic. It was purely aesthetics. And because you can ask yourself, like, so then what? After, because we could undergo a calorie deficit. By the time you're eating less calorie than, you're spending more calories than what you're eating. If you're consistent in the gym, and you could lose that, and you actually will. But then what after? So, but in the process of doing that, I would have sold you on different numbers. I want you to lift your body weight on a deadlift. I want you to bench probably your body weight. I want you to run 5 miles nonstop. I want you to, I'll hook you on performance goals. And then those are almost, I can't say unattainable, but they are infinite. You can put a timeline. You can say, I'm done with performance. No. There's always things to achieve. And to me, it is one of the reasons I retain people. It is because I teach them about what else is out there beyond what they came to begin with, what they came for to begin with. So, and then there's always like another stage. And again, they stay because it is backed by real achievements. So they really come without a proper form of a squat, and then they end up squatting their body weight plus extra weight. So that is proof that what I'm doing is actually beneficial, and people love progress. If there is no sense of progress, why continuing? Yeah. So retention, we maintain a high retention rate by achieving people goals. That's number one. but also constant check. Because, you know, if you come to the gym and you don't have a trainer, you want to work out on your own, and you probably followed the wave of, I don't know, it was like that New Year, New Me. It was probably like, yeah. So probably if you don't have something specific you're working on, you're probably one of those that will drop out by the beginning of February. Like right now, it's happening, and we actually
February 1st.
We actually like shooting some sort of motivational reels that tell people that where people say, okay, my name is Ivan, I work at Cali and I'm staying, because the majority of people are actually leaving.
Yeah.
But what makes people leave is that they have no sense of belonging. First of all, we have a stronger community. And by the time you feel like you belong to something, you feel like, okay, you're working on something that is a bit more than just personal goals. Yeah. So that also helps. So because, yeah, it's good. You could say, okay, I'm here for vibes. Yes, if the gym offer vibes, then you could also stay for that.
Yeah.
And then as a byproduct, you also get to have a good body that you always wanted. So
yeah. What about the people who know that they want to change something on their body, either lose weight or gain weight or whatever that is? What have you seen as the main blocker for them to be able to come to the gym, to make that step?
Yeah, when they want to.
Yeah, or not even the gym, actually just take their fitness seriously. It could just be running in the neighborhood.
Like I said, once you've, you can always break down any goal you want and then bring it down to something you can actually achieve. I could say like, I want to run a marathon, but if I've never run a half marathon, it's probably a dream. So I probably need to test myself on splits within a half marathon. Then I will understand that inside a half marathon, there's a 10K and there's a 5K. I'll probably test myself on the lowest possible, on the easiest, and then that will be a 5K. And then I'll want to run my 5K faster. It is still a 5K, but I will want to reduce the time. And then I'll probably test myself, see if I can run longer within the same time of the 5K. I'll probably do like maybe 5.5 or 6. And then I'll probably aim for like a 10 at some point. I record the time and then I'll try to do 12 within the time of a 10. Like as I gain confidence backed by the numbers I've put in, I can then shoot for the marathon. So people need something to grip on, something small that if you want to lose 10 kilos, probably start with a plan of losing 1. And if you lose that 1, you have something. It's so easy to repeat things that work than just wishing for things you are not sure if they will work. So do something small. If it works, just repeat it. It's simple. You know how you've done it. And if it's a time issue, then I probably work towards like realigning things and priorities so that you can actually find the time. But do that thing that worked the first time, and then maybe you can afford the luxury to do it differently when you know that you can play things around. Yeah. But the methodology should be like, okay, this I know it got me to lose 2 kilos. I'm gonna do the same and lose 2 more kilos. And then probably before I hit a plateau where I'm not losing anymore, I'll probably switch things around a bit. But the principle is that is pretty much the same. Get something, get obsessed with it, and then you could always grip on the next one. Yeah. So I feel like those people who have goals and it's still in their mind, and now they are stuck between scrolling, looking at what other people are doing, and instead of getting up and come to the gym, they should just know that sometimes you have goals and it's intimidating because it's a big goal. Like I feel overweight, I'm 120, I want to be 80. We're talking about 60 kilos. If you have no plan on how to lose your first kilo, it's going to be so hard to go to the gym with a goal to lose 60 kilos. So, but if you go to the gym with a goal of losing 2 first kilos, you probably will be able to duplicate the same strategy, the same means, the same trainer, the same time. And that's how consistency is built. It's so easy to be consistent on things that are working. If they're working, and then you probably will reach your 60 in no time. But before then, I don't think you have an idea when you can lose 60. Yeah.
What's your workout routine?
Right now, I actually have very different workout routines. It depends on the time I have, it depends on who I train with, and it depends on, I mentioned the time, no? It depends on how tired I am, how I feel, my energy levels. If it's a workout during the day, if I feel like I'm gonna have a long day and then I could have an hour and a half of lunch time that could have also a workout, I would do that. And what I would do, how I'll feel around lunchtime would determine what I would do. So the goal is to keep moving, basically. But a couple of years ago, I used to have very precise goals where I would actually put time for those goals. So if I want to gain muscle mass, I used to lift weights for hypertrophy as the only goal, like increase in size, around December. So that 4 or 5 months later on, when we are around summer, if I ever go to the beach, I'll just remove my shirt comfortably and enjoy the muscles. Yeah. So I would like do 6 months of like bulking. And then I would start cutting, trying to get lean around so that those muscles can actually be visible around May, June. And then, so how I eat and how I'm training at that time then changes to accommodate the phase where I'm at. But right now, I train with a couple of things in mind. So I train with like longevity in mind. Like what I'm doing, is it sustainable? Can I do it for a very long time? That's one. Two, am I learning a new skill? So I try not to lose what I had. Like I try to keep playing football. I try to hang on things. I used to be a bit acrobatic before. I try to hang on things, jump on things and pull things and throw things and try to test my body in different kind of environments to see if I'm not losing some of those fitness elements that involved in performing those things. And then when I see that I can't jump further, let's say I'm on a stair and there was like a ditch and I wanted to like jump over it. And then I realized that, okay, not only I realized that it's too far, or the new me is very risk averse and I don't want to take the chance, or I actually try and then fail, then I'll question things like my explosiveness or my mobility or my agility. And then I'll go to the gym and then I'll incorporate those workouts into my plan. So, but things like weightlifting, for sure, I still need to weightlift. But I constantly assess myself, the capacity to perform in various disciplines, and then assess things that I know that I'm losing because of age, and things that I know I'm losing because I'm not working on them. Because if you don't use it, you lose it. It's as simple as that. Yeah.
What's your take on supplements?
Supplements. You need supplements. So I think
because there are some people who are like, I need. I'm only gonna go with the natural food, organic food. Not this.
Yeah, I mean those naturalists. I mean it's good. I think if I say that you need supplements and then not add anything, I will be wrong.
Yeah.
But you need to meet, the goal is not supplements, but you need to meet your daily macro demands, like macronutrients demands. Like you have your fats, you have your carbohydrates, and you have your protein demands. If you know that your physical, you can start by answering some of the basic questions, like why do we eat? We eat to have ABCDs, to have nutrients. And if you feel like, and the main reason to eat is actually to sustain our physical activity, our demand, our metabolic demand. And if I feel like I am a bricklayer, that I go to the gym, I go to work and I use a lot of physical strength, I'll probably have to eat some carbohydrates before, a few hours before, so that I will have energy, because that's our source of energy. Or if I look skinny and I want to gain a little bit of muscle mass, I need to go to the gym, and then as I lift weight, I need to have that effect. And in order to gain muscles, I need to have my proteins. So therefore, if I'm not getting it from food, I will have to supplement it. It doesn't matter which, then you can look up what's good for you. Is it a whey protein? There are other things. Or if I'm low on, because on the side of macronutrients, there are also micronutrients. So which is actually the things that people supplement the most.
Yeah.
Your micronutrients consist of your vitamins and your minerals. So you will see people taking zinc, or people taking magnesium, or people taking their vitamins A, B, C, D, as you know them. Because they don't eat enough of those, or they don't eat food that contain those micronutrients that their body needs. So when there shouldn't be a stigma to supplement on things that you don't get in your daily nutrition.
Yeah.
But it should all come from a space of information. You should be aware of what's happening and what you're putting in your body. And as long as you trust the source, as long as you know the right amount, because most of it goes to waste when people want to overdo things. Like those teenagers who want to gain huge muscles and they would take 6 scoops of protein. Yeah. You would just
That's crazy.
pee it and poo it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's a limited amount your body can absorb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your why?
What's my why? It will have to be compartmentalized. What's my why with what?
In life. Why are you doing this?
Why do I do what I do?
Yeah.
As far as fitness is concerned, I feel like my why is to have as many people on board as possible. So I feel like fitness used to just be something I do because I enjoy it. And then I realized I could actually help people achieve very great stuff in their other areas of life that are not completely fitness related. Yeah. But then when I bring it back, I'm like, okay, this person managed to get the promotion they had because they have an improved sense of discipline and self-respect. Then I'm like, okay, what areas of the gym that developed that? It is showing up, it is acknowledge other people's presence, it is taking yourself seriously and then do what you said you will do. It is like, if you're fit, there is no way you can get to incredible results without having discipline. So, and this discipline is one word. There's no such a thing as discipline in the gym and not discipline elsewhere. So you will you will work on your discipline in the gym, and then eventually it helps you in your professional life, let's say. And then you look at that kind of impact. I'm like, damn, I didn't know fitness could have this kind of impact on people's lives. So
is that a real story about the promotion guy?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have many like that. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. I have many.
What was the most interesting
You could join the gym, and then the stories you tell me about your profession, your personal life, and where you are with your spouse. You probably are like, I don't know, not so well, and then you go, you improve your health, you reduce a couple of weights, you get fitter, you look better, you perform better. And then before you know it, I don't even ask you. Now all of a sudden, the stories about your situation changes to like being this wonderful marriage or wonderful. Then I'm like, okay, dang, fitness. You have changed one big aspect of your life because of being fit. So it could be professional, it could be personal, it could be your marriage, it could be, not to mention reversing some sickness that was developing. You could be type 2 diabetes, and then you come to the gym, you reverse the condition. No meds whatsoever. You could be a high blood pressure person. You could be pre-diabetic, and then all of a sudden you go to your doctor and they're like, there's no sign of a high blood level, high sugar level in your blood. So fitness is just being used now as a tool, in my opinion, to just better people's lives in general. And if I I'm in this very privileged position to utilize this tool, I feel like it's such an honor, and it's something I cherish.
You know, are there any other areas that you feel like they contribute to your why?
If it's not about the client, then it's usually about me. So I look at then what fitness does to me. So it's a job that I do. I do fitness, if I may call it like that. So I make a living through making people be healthy. So that is another why to stick to it, because it gives me a decent living in the Kigali life, and it helps me fulfill some of the personal goals I had set. Maybe some are old as I am, but it allows me to think and dream and achieve a lot of things. Yeah.
You just recently bought out WAKA Fitness. How's that experience for you? And what made you decide that this was an interesting business opportunity?
Acquisition. WAKA, first of all, is an independent gym that started around the same time as Cali. So we had this relationship just from being there as independent gyms, while most gyms were in hotels. So, and then we kind of wanted to do things in the same way, but very independently from each other. So, and then obviously there were the competition, and there was that obsession about what everybody's doing and what is WAKA doing, what is Cali doing, and then they would push different kind of products and different kind of services based on what the market is, how ready the market is, but also what's the competition, what is the competition doing. So it was like a healthy relationship, but it made it be that one gym that has always in my head more than any other gym. So then I grew this kind of admiration because of what they were doing. They were doing a fantastic job in terms of like offering a different kind of value proposition. They kind of set themselves apart as like this fancy gym. They were more expensive. They were like, and then when they took over, they had this, commercial real estate in Rwanda is a bit tricky, because you go to a place and they kind of make these multi-purpose places that will be then partitioned to accommodate offices and stuff. If you're trying to put a gym in such spaces, it's a nightmare. Because the plan being and the bathrooms and everything needs to be like kind of remodeled, and you never get it right because the building was built without the gym in their mind to begin with. And that's the situation Cali has always been into. But WAKA, you would go into it and then things seem to have been thought through, from the changing rooms to where the weights are, to where the treadmills and cardio equipment face, and to the light, to the, it was really, really nice as a facility. And most of it, of course, explains their success over the years. And then when the opportunity to take over, we started off talking about a merger. It was during COVID. The communication was really good with the previous owners. And then when they expressed their need for that it would actually be possible to sell it, I was like, okay, this is an opportunity I need to jump on. And then we started the whole financial due diligence thing that lasted about a year. And
so congrats.
Thank you.
And what are you looking into? Are you looking into doing anything new? Do you want to merge them together? Do you want to make it into a different thing? Keep it the same thing?
Right now it's they are remaining separate because they are fundamentally different.
Yeah.
And that is actually like a competitive advantage if we want to remain competitive. So for now, they will stay separate, and we will try to see how they can both offer a different kind of value proposition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When people think about the fitness business, they think about a gym. People just lifting weights and running around. Is that the case? Is there more to a fitness business? Is there more to what you want to do?
Of course. And we are yet to even explore, like, I don't know, we are probably at 2%.
Yeah.
I mean, you see, there are people, there's a guy who started something called, was it Nganzo? What's this fitness apparel business?
Imano, I think.
Imano. Yeah. There was this guy, when he started off, I was like, okay, cool. Somebody is bringing a fitness apparel to Rwanda.
Yeah.
Especially with like cool African Rwandan design mix and stuff. It was really nice. Because to me, I was like, okay, this would develop to now be the official supplier of the, like, let's say the apparel for the national team, for the jerseys. And we will see like home developed concepts, but unfortunately it did not do as well as I hoped. I mean, at least it didn't stay long. I'm not sure if they're still around physically. Maybe they have an online presence, but I'm not sure what happened to them. But it gives you an idea of what else is there to explore. So there is, of course, within the same space, you could venture into merchandising, you could go into apparels, you could even these promotional materials that you see, like bags, bottles, and towers, and if it's not just for the gym, you could make your own for people. But of course, there is nutrition that is almost untapped. I see many people trying to do different kind of stuff. But it would be cool to go to a place and eat things where like you could read the food composition on a label and it's ready to be eaten. There are online services. There are like online trainers. We don't have any here. I mean, we have people trying to do that, but there is no serious online fitness service that you could say, okay, this, because those can actually be bigger than any gym.
Yeah.
So yeah, there is endless potential in this business.
No, definitely. I think a lot of great opportunity. I think also the fact that the middle class is growing, right? Because
middle class is growing. The government is pushing for a healthy lifestyle. We have different kind of NCDs that are now weighing on heavy on our public health programs, and we need to address all these issues with proper lifestyles. So people need to stop drinking. You know, the Tungeles campaign. People need to attend. We have the Car Free Day. It would be nice if many people attended. I mean, there is attendance for sure, better than before, but it would be nice if many people attended, because these programs, these government initiatives, they actually serve as wake-up calls. Because if you have not walked from Shelando to Kimihurura and failed, you will never know that you can. So it's good that there is a way to go test it. So you just go, they'll block the cars for you, and then you test yourself. Probably that will be your wake-up call to actually work on other aspects of your fitness.
What are some of the things that you have to cut off or add to your nutrition to fit into your life, fitness goals?
To fit in my fitness goals? When I'm... because right now what I do are pretty basic stuff so that I can actually sustain the performance and the body in terms of look that I have. So one of the things I don't overindulge into carbohydrates, because for the same reasons. Because I don't move as much as I moved, like let's say 5 years ago, when I had very few tasks on my desk, but I could also like eat and train. Like I was also like, the age was also another factor. I could. So right now, I do like about 80% of what I used to do. I mean, people can look at me and say, okay, you're still young, but in terms of performance, change happens so fast. Yeah, like also I've always held myself on a certain standard when it comes to performing. So the stuff I'm doing, they're a bit above average. So that's why I can say I'm no longer doing what I used to do, like cycling from here to Rubavu, for example. I don't think I can. I mean, I could, but it wouldn't be healthy because I'm not really conditioned to do it anymore. But then I could do it, and then I could eat, I don't know, even if it's a pizza in Kigali and another pizza in Rubavu and back, and do twice. Yeah. But right now, so everything I have to put in my stomach, I need to be mindful of how that is contributing to sustaining my physical activity or whether it's creating excess fat.
Yeah.
So I need to watch on that. Another thing is that I need to, as I approach the 40s, I need to watch my protein intake so that I can actually eat enough, because it's the time where I need to hold on to the muscle mass I've built over time, because the atrophy stage is coming up, and I will just start losing muscle mass as a progression to aging. You can't stop that. So I eat a lot of protein. If I go to the restaurant, I will order like unapologetically my 250 grams of filet mignon, and every time I train, I also supplement with the proper supplements. So I do have to make fewer sacrifices. I'm lucky that I'm not a social eater, so I'm not easily influenced. Everything that I eat is because I want to eat it. Yeah. Not because we are in a group and then we want to do pizzas and then we do pizzas. But the idea behind is usually to assess what I'm able to use, and then I eat that.
Yeah.
If I can't use it, then I don't need it.
Yeah. What about people who work out from Monday to Friday, and then Friday nights they go crazy in the club and they just drink so much alcohol over the weekend, and then on Monday they're like, "Yep, I'm there at 5 a.m. Let's go back at it."
Which is the majority of the young fellas, no? 40 years and below. I think they do that. But
do you advise that as a?
No, because that's like two extremes. Right? You go hard in the gym and then hard in the nightlife and not sleep and eating junk food and things that were actually you can see people that somebody asked me the other day, like, yeah, we see people you post and but how come we see them all the time at the gym, but how come we don't see results? And then I'm like, okay, it's probably the reason. The reason why is probably because the time you see them in the gym, they have another time that's probably the equivalent of that, or that is longer, where they do things that are counterproductive, and that could be like those sleepless nights. You need to rest the body if you want any change. That could be poor eating. You need to eat properly according to what you want to achieve. And if you are then out in those nights, and then it's not going to work.
What do you think about alcohol?
Alcohol, I mean, it's a cool thing, I think. People think I don't drink.
Yeah.
But also my friends would say, you don't drink. Yeah, because of how I drink. So I'm the 1 glass per dinner kind of guy, but also those dinner are like twice a week maximum. So alcohol needs to be kept in check, because it really damages the quality of your health overall. Not to mention your cognitive function, because it's something we don't really assess regularly. But I'm not saying you get dumber, but you probably start processing information slower than you used to before, or you settle for things you wouldn't normally settle for, or you get compromised in one way or another because of like excessive drinking, and how it would also affect your relationships, your personal life, your production at work, your production at the gym, because if you're intoxicated, you can train. At least you can train optimally as you would if you were sober. And so it's something that especially the youth that overindulge in alcohol should think about. Like, how is alcohol affecting my life? And then try to have a 360 view of your life also. Sometimes we only see one part and we ignore the others. So, and then you could, it's here to stay for sure, but it's not for everybody, and definitely higher quantities are dangerous to the body. Yeah.
Do you believe you found your life's purpose?
I don't know. I still enjoy what I do, and it depends. How deep do I understand what my life purpose is? Because I on my Twitter, my bio says that it's in helping people achieving their health goals that I found my purpose, or that I find my purpose. A big part of it, no, all of it is true. But I don't know. It sounds like too small as a purpose. I don't know. So I could probably discover other things along the way. But my goal is to keep working on what's making me happy. That's number one. And then see. Probably I will find other things.
What's next for you right now? What are some of the things that are coming up that you're excited about?
The things that are coming out that I'm excited about, one is the fitness regulation. So we're going to now finally, because it used to take just you go register at RDB, get a T number, find a space, buy equipment, and then start operating a gym. So that is not gonna be the case. There's going to be ABCDs to check first before you open a gym.
What's wrong with that?
That, of course, made it easy to open gyms and be in business, but it wasn't really good for on the consumers' side. So because a gym needs to have the capacity to do what it is said it does. Like, there was no way to check that. Because you go to RDB, you can say, okay, operation of gym services, we could do it. Then you become like those hospitals that say, we could resuscitate you if you're going to die or something. And then there is no way to actually check on that. So gyms needs to have qualified personnel. If a trainer is going to be trusted to have people's lives in their hands, and we need to make sure that they're not doing more harm than good. So there is that. Then there is, of course, identification and making sure you are like kept in check as far as paperwork and taxes and registration are concerned. And then what I think that is the reason why I'm excited. It's the first step to being recognized as active players in the preventive healthcare system in Rwanda. That is either existing or non-existing. I'm not sure if there is such a thing. But we do have a department of NCDs within RBC. They do a lot of behavior change campaign. They do a lot of work to make people aware of the dangers of let's say over drinking and other things that will damage the quality of their health. But little, I won't say little, but not enough is said about the importance of, or at least the work that gyms are doing or have been doing. So when now because it's a good government language, oversight and regulation, and so it will then bring us to a spotlight that will make, at the same time as they are trying to regulate us, they will become aware of what the kind of work we have been doing, and how we are good contributors on the Rwanda's economy. And from there, we would then probably be able to negotiate different kind of incentives that we wouldn't normally have if nobody knows where we are and what we do and how we do it. Yeah.
Regulations, is there anything else?
Regulations, the trainers training. There's also, at first there were questions like if we regulate saying that gyms need to have certified trainers, and yet we don't have a certifying body in the country, where are those trainers going to come from? So there's also going to be a way in collaboration with the Ministry of Health and Education and Sports, where trainers can be trained. I assume with also a TVET board. So that is also exciting. So there's going to be a generation of trainers that are going to have a structured training, like a formal training where you say, okay, I'm a personal trainer because I underwent this process. And and then slowly we can, that will help us eliminate the stigma that exists in our profession, where like a personal trainer is somebody who failed at life and now all of a sudden they are now in the gym. And like I don't think if you were in school and you tell your parents that you want to be a personal trainer, they'll be like,
doesn't sound like
aren't you doing finance? Why don't you go on and keep doing finance stuff? So you could work at a gym and personal trainers are probably in the coming years going to be one of the most respected fitness professionals and professions in Rwanda, because of they'll be judged by their impact they have on people, not by anything else as it is now. So remember, gyms used to be called like in Suzimye Dagaduros. Places you go there to just waste time. A bunch of guys in front of the mirror pumping their biceps. Like there's nothing important to that.
Yeah.
But now, the country, the world, the scientific papers, everything is directing everybody towards going in the mirror and pump that biceps while you look at yourself, stuff like that. Yeah. But of course, you will probably go there for the mirror, and then you realize that there is also like some social benefits, some fitness goals to achieve. There's a lot happening in the gym. It's not just a bunch of disenfranchised youth or whatever you call it. It's and whoever is helping them achieve those goals should also be respected, because I believe that fitness and it's also one of my recent tweets is that fitness and sickness. Because there are people who are in the business of sickness, like the hospitals. If people are not sick, then they're out of business. So you set up a clinic because you hope to get clients, and people need to be sick to be your clients. You can call them patients, it's fine. We can debate that, but it's a client. And on our side, we tend to keep people out of hospitals. So we're on the same kind of spectrum. And somewhere in the middle, there is people in the wellness category. But what I was trying to get to is that we are probably offering the solutions that are not on the table at the moment as far as disease prevention is concerned, at least not recognized. And we would then get to that level where like we could be given the kind of respect we deserve by having an oversight and regulations, and people become aware of the wonders that have been happening.
Yeah. Ivan, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for the work that you're doing.
Thank you.
In keeping people healthy and fit, changing lives, literally. Mm-hmm. And all the best in your new venture.
Thank you.
And can't wait to see where you're going to go in the next couple of years.
Thanks.
Cheers, bud.